Ruler of the universe and master of all masters, the Father of mercy and forgiveness, we thank you, our God and the God of our fathers, by bowing down and kneeling, that you brought us closer to your Torah and your holy work, and you enable us to take part in the secrets of your holy Torah. How worthy are we that you grant us with such big favor? That is the reason we plead before you, that you will forgive and acquit all of our sins, and that they should not be between you and us. Welcome. And may it be your will before you, our God and the God of our fathers, that you will awaken and prepare our hearts to love and revere you. And may you listen to our utterances and open our closed heart to the hidden studies of your Torah. And may our study be pleasant before your place of honor, as the aroma of sweet incense. And may you emanate to us light from the source of our soul to all of our being. And may the sparks of your holy servants, through which you revealed your wisdom to the world, shine. May their merit and the merit of their fathers and the merit of their Torah and holiness support us, so we shall not stumble through our study. And by their merit enlighten our eyes in our learning, as it is stated by King David, the sweet singer of Israel. Open my eyes so that I will see wonders from your Torah, because from his mouth God gives wisdom and understanding. May the utterances of my mouth and thoughts of my heart find favor before you, God, my strength and my redeemer. It's taken me 13 years, really, let's just say 2007, 2006 is when I woke up to be doing what I'm doing right now. 1999, I had the hypothesis that I'm working on right now. 2000, I recognized the hypothesis and I saw the psychological and sociological and analogical and problematic systems I'm outlining right now. We are, as far as to what that meant is that we are too far gone with the Bible in print, with the 6,000-year earth deductive. It invalidated the whole Bible. We have a young earth creationist cult ministry. They call themselves over there. They call themselves a ministry, and they're too immoral and too incompetent to stop producing rubbish. They're too immoral and too incompetent to not producing legend of their religion. Too immoral and too incompetent, actually just too stupid. Too stupid. You're all in hell. You're all too ignorant with human evolution. You're too ignorant about the 25% of you who don't believe in evolution. Good for you, morons, who retained a 6,000-year legend and accepted that over reconciling at something wrong. So morons, like the moron I was talking about last night from the Bible Church on the next post over, is too ignorant, stupid to even know the legitimate age of the earth. On it, Yakima Indian Nation with Kennewick man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain. 9,200-year-old fossil remain. Well, I'm from Washington State, and he's mentally ill, and you're in hell because he's so dumb. And because you have a young earth creationist ministry, a worthless fucking group of adults, idiots, morons, as dipshit dumb as you can become, you are in hell with these moron typing great apes too dumb to not go for a 6,000-year legend in the year 2020. They've gone too far. They have no brain. They're too dumb. You're in hell because they're too idiotic. Which is ironic because it places the quality and value of the Christian religion down at zero. The quality and value of the Christian religion is at zero. There's absolutely no value in any teaching from the Christian religion in any form, way, shape, or form, because they are teaching an apocryphal book, an apocryphal legend, an apocryphal 6,000-year. They're actually too dumb, too ignorant of earth history, and just too immoral and too incompetent, too foolish, too incompetent. The people over at GodQuestions.cult, too incompetent, too dumb, too ignorant of earth history, too incompetent, too dumb. They are too incompetent. Incompetent. Pastors are the most incompetent and immoral, ignorant, stupid. You're all in hell with that one. With the 6,000 euro that made you as dumb as a fucking box of rocks, pastors, you're as dumb as a box of rocks. You pastors are as immoral, incompetent, dumb as a box of rocks. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Too dumb to have that book in print with dual messiahs. They are so ignorant and stupid because they don't actually believe this book. They don't know this book. They believe this book legend only. And they're competent to accept that they don't have a legitimate legend. All religion is too incompetent to accept that it does not have a legitimate book. I'm looking for my broom though, so I don't step on whatever I just started stepping on. But religion is actually too incompetent for their book. Too dumb. The 2020 religion has invalidated the Bible entirely. The Bible is 100%, 1,000% invalid. The Bible is invalid because it's taught immorally and wrong. It's taught without the ancestral origin of writing, where you get writing from. It's taught without the ancestral origin of books, where those book authorship comes from. In order to answer that question, I'm going to explain. Happened last night, stayed up pretty late. The Ryrie Study Bible, New American Standard, fully taken apart, fully interpreted, typed many times, worked with for 13 years, is an apocryphal book. Meaning that the New American Standard version of the Bible is an apocryphal book of Apocrypha. So here I'm referencing to another apocryphal book. I'm referencing another apocryphal book. You're in hell, Christianity, because this is New American Standard Apocrypha itself is entirely apocryphal with two messiahs. Messiah ben Yosef is not the guy with the letter J, and Messiah ben David is also not the letter J guy. Church of who? J guy. Meaning that so the New American Standard is a piece of apocrypha left you in hell. The Holy Bible. I'm Ben David. I'm taking this and I'm explaining verse by verse and line by line that it did not contain anything, but do not be as dumb to not accept reality as science grew up out of the Middle Ages. You're still following a Middle Age book, a broken, an immoral, incompetent two Messiah book. Messiah ben Yosef is not Jesus. Messiah ben David is also not Jesus. Jesus is in Greek legend, an incompetent Latin translation during the Middle Ages. Incompetent. Let me wash my face. So Christianity has invalidated itself by fabricating a legend of the guy with the J being Ben David and Ben Yosef. One, no, he's neither. He is Ben Yosef because his father's name was Yosef, and I am Ben David because my father's name is David. Done with that one. So the incompetency to understand that is because the rest of this is all legend. Of legend of compilation, legend of authorship, legend of writing, legend of being understood through the Middle Ages. This is entirely Middle Age, Black, misinterpreted, misunderstood, and really only a remnant of the Cold War era. The Bible is a false remnant of the Cold War era. I'm just trying to figure out how to explain this because it is literally false remnant of the Cold War era. Whereas which verse of the Bible did religion take God out of the Bible with? Because this Dewey Rames, this King James blue ribbon edition, this Expositor Study Bible, this New English Bible, this Geneva Bible, the 1602, this Matthew's Bible, the 1537, this New English Bible with the Apocrypha. Move a few things around. This New English Bible with Apocrypha, I'll put it with that Dewey Rims. The complete Dead Sea Scrolls, I am Ben David. Jesus is not Ben Joseph, Ben David together. Jesus, guy with the J, is a Greek fabrication of English legend. You are in hell with that one. The guy with the letter J is a Greek Latin fabrication kept over in legend format through legend of your authorship or your books. Literally left you so far out there as Christianities who went for a 6,000-year earth legend and a 6,000-year earth single guy with single letter name. Guy with single letter name. And you erased what he did for church, of course, because you didn't notice you did notice Christianity, you morons, and you got worse because of this. You did notice that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, same book. Expositor's Study Bible, same book. Moron, incompetent fool, grade ape idiot. Went for a legend. Followed a 6,000-year legend, is mentally ill because of it. Make it that simple. Senile. This is also a legend. This is the Mormon Apocrypha. So when the Christians are too incompetent to keep track of time, having broken at 6,000-year earth legend, they're too incompetent for the New English Bible, which is Cambridge of all people. They're too incompetent for the Bible. They didn't provide you a good translation. They did not provide you a good edition. In fact, it's such a shitty edition that it's really good, but hard to explain. You erase God. Christianity literally erased God from the Bible. And because Christianity did that, they're too immoral, ignorant to turn off their cults. You guys have gone too far, too immoral, too ignorant with 6,000-year earth typing grade 8 cult on the internet. You're $22 trillion in debt. You actually need some significant reconstruction help. in requirement, reconstructive help. You exposited the Bible with an immoral, incompetent 6,000 year legend and an immoral, incompetent false Messiah. Friday morning. O Lord Maxwell Dioge, we give thee thanks and praise that thou hast so graciously protected us this night and brought us again to the light of day. We beseech thee, let thy mercy be with us this day also. O thou Son of righteousness, rise in our hearts, enlighten our minds, and cause thy grace to abound in us, that being ever mindful of thy mercies and of thy laws, we may both be comforted for sin, whatever that may be, according to taking God out of the Bible and keeping a 6,000 year legend and being left in hell, and always inclined to thy will, increasing daily in love toward thee and toward one another. Defend us in body and soul, that no evil befall us, neither any plague come nigh our dwelling. Prosper the work of our hands, and keep our souls from sinning. Grant peace to our land, success to thy word, and all true believers, eternal salvation. For the sake of thy mercy, which endureth forever, world without end. Howdy. So, following a false Messiah and a false legend, you have the Geneva Bible, 1602. Following a false legend of authorship Christianity used to have, but they're too ignorant of how far away they've gone. William Tyndale and Miles Clover, edited by John Rogers. Matthews 1537 Bible. The Matthews 1537 Bible. James Escher deduced a 6,000 year legend. He provided. Why did a table of the PRYNCYPALL matters contain CANTAYNED in the BYBLE? Words I can't read, so it's not a legitimate anything but apocrypha. And the most shameful, really neat picture. Hey, look at your ignorant cult over there. They're the great apes now. How'd you do that? At 3500 BC, you followed a legend of common ancestry, common origin, false history of authorship of the Bible, a false history of a legend of origin, and 25% of you are left with great ape, not you, and 75% are left with great ape you, because, and then 6,000 years, you're just cast to hell according to them. But they're in hell right now because they're too incompetent to actually read words and accept reality. And so the law expounded in St. Matthew, who are bleffed, BLEFFED. You've rendered this Bible, BYBLE, 6,000 year earth, stupid, immoral, ignorant, immoral to use. You use a 6,000 year legend book. You teach a 6,000 year legend Messiah who's not me. And you teach a 6,000 year legend Messiah who's not Yeshua. G, the guy with the J is neither. He's a fabrication from Greek. Rabbi Pinchas wept and said, Master of the universe, this miracle you have performed for my sake. These Jews are saved, and I did not even know. He opened the discussion with the verse, to him who alone does great wonders, for his steadfast love endures forever. How much good does the Holy One, blessed be he, do for the people, and how many miracles does he perform for them every day? No one ever knows except he alone. A person gets up in the morning and a snake comes to kill him. The person places a foot on his head without intention and kills him. No one is aware of that except the Holy One, blessed be he alone. To him he alone does great wonders. A person walks along the road and the robbers who lie in wait to kill him. Another one that comes along and pays ransom instead for him, and he is saved. None knows of the kindness that the Holy One, blessed be he, did with him and the miracle that just occurred to him. But the Holy One, blessed be he himself, to him alone does great wonders. He by himself made it and knows, and no one else even knows it. There was a typo right there. Man, I like a typo. So you, as I'm commenting on, you can't BYBLEGOFPELL. You are now following a false legend of a false book. Jimmy Swagger's crew, cult crew, just following a false legend of a false book that's written in ballads since 1907. So the Bible's actually been in ballad since 1907. Before it never came to be. So me coming in at the end of the road in the year 2020 explaining that I've been working for since 2006, 1996 actually, is that I've got a lot of information. I'm Ben David. Yeshua is Ben Yosef. Jesus is Greek. Latin. For English. The snake. So this miracle of having me being willing to do this, I'm a human being, is that I have to take the Bible from you, Christianity, which I'm doing best I can do, and explaining to us friend who joined out on my website. I'll eventually get there. The only thing I can do taking the Bible from religion is collapse the Pope and give you a prayer book. Is that not kind of swell? In addition, with a 200,000 page manual that's more of a prologue as to why you got left in hell with such a stupid, ignorant, scientific, not scientific, pseudoscientific deduction of 500 years lost all record of earth history, Christianity. 500 years evolution, you lost all record of earth history. 500 years. Kids, you evolved. Yeah, what you have is everything before the year 4000 BC specifically. The year 4000 BC specifically, not 4004 BC, not with any deductions. Kids, false messiah, letter J, who messed you up. Mommy and daddy got left in hell because they couldn't read words because of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Bible came from the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Bible came from the Dead Sea Scrolls. The false cults of all 7.7 billion of you are literally in hell with your false cults and false religions and false everything. With a can't turn off cult over there, you're literally in hell with that. Literally, oddly enough. But not odd to me, having wasted 13 years and being able to determine that not only is the English Bible with Apocrypha just as valid as, because it's a book in writing after the year 3500 BC, just as valid as the Holy Bible, Apocryphatic, Douay-Rheims. This is an old one. I really like that one. But you're in hell because you're too immoral and incompetent without the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Douay-Rheims Bible, when it got through Latin, Greek, and fuck you over in religion, is it somehow came out of that. Somehow. And we don't know how. We don't have that history. We only have the history of it invalidated itself, to be honest. We don't have earth history with anything but the immoral, incompetent religious systems that continued to use the Bible after 1999, when you had until about 1976 in order to determine that the 6,000 year deduction was just immoral, incompetent, and evil. The 6,000 year deduction is such an immoral, such an incompetent, such an evil deduction, because the church has always never had a book because of that deduction. It's always only had a false book with a false deduction elsewhere. When was that false deduction made? What was the consequence of the deduction thereafter? Why did James Escher preclude that he could make an age of the earth deduction with a story that actually eventually eradicated earth history? So we have dinosaurs go to a Christian church with the young earth creationist foolish ministry like the cult I'm taking the Bible away from in Toppenish, Washington, Indian Reservation, Kennewick Man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain, because he took God out of the Bible in two whole verses, Deuteronomy 34:10 and Exodus 33:11, and no one has ever seen God because he thinks he knows the books, because he thinks he knows the books, because he thinks he knows the books. It told him no one has ever seen God, so he memorized it wrong and thinks he knows his books. He's in hell because I haven't done that. Memorize the wrong, think you know the books. The only way to understand the whole Bible in any form, way, or shape is to accept that before the year 2020, you friend to join, anything you run into print didn't know those two verses and didn't know how to read the Bible. So they didn't understand the compilation of the Bible, and they did not understand the compilation of the false messiah ships. Two false messiahs. Ben David is a false messiah, and that's me. It actually is me. Ben Yosef is a false messiah, and is it actually Yeshua? Guy with the J. Pooh. You're in hell. It's kind of the book I'm writing. And it's really, 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 you see how excited I am. It's a lot of work. What do I get out of that, kids? What do I get out of that? Take that name with the letter J, say he's not either, and a prayer book to you kids, to my dog, to access God. So it's false messiah. What are we going to do to repair that? The Bible, false messiah. What are we going to do to repair that? Is the most for me, because I've been working on it for 13 years. Bible, false messiah. What are we going to do to repair it? What did I do to set out to understand that that's what happened? Is a better question. It was on accident, really, more so than anything. It was a hell of a lot of work. A hell of a lot of work. I've been working on what I'm explaining here to you 13 years from you joined. So I need all Baptists, especially Baptists. There's an immoral, incompetent. I'm actually Ben David. Baptists are actually just a cult, and you didn't evolve. You did evolve. You didn't evolve. You did evolve. Now let's figure out what that meant. Past tense. What did it mean to evolve? What did it mean to follow a 6,000-year Earth legend? What did it mean to evolve? What did it mean for religion to continue through to the year 2020 following a 6,000-year Earth legend? Well, in 1999, when got questions or too senile to accept reality, began typing Gradyville over there with their 6,000-year legend. Can't turn off, because here's the fucked up part. Dinosaurs aren't real. To a 6,000-year, too stupid to figure out that dinosaurs are real. Woolly mammoth is real. Mountain ages are real. Stuff before the Middle Ages, not categorized very well at all, of course, because before the year 4000 BC, you couldn't get along. Nothing happened back then, so you kept false dates. All science. Science kept all of these false scattered dates after about 1917 that are impossible to draw through and understand because of false authority provided to people like Richard Dawkins. Shame on you, Richard Dawkins, reading from Darwin and not figuring out two and two together. Up to then, practically the whole world believed in the James Escher chronology in 1859. So Richard Dawkins, dude, you shameful little piece of shit. Great it, you fucking moron. 500 years you are. Fuck you, Richard Dawkins. You're such an immoral incompetent, just like stupid 6,000 year earth. Too dumb. Richard Dawkins is as dumb as those guys. Is as ignorant, stupid of Earth history as a 6,000 year Earth cult leader. Cult leader, the Bible I'm taking away from in Top Initiation, Resurrection, 9,100-year-old fossil remains. He's got all these books. Oh, the primordial soup. It's a joke. All of these words he thinks he knows he's talking about, but really what he is he's a 71-year-old senile fucking piece of white, waferless, stupid shit. He has nothing in his brain. No consciousness, no thought, no anything. He's so stupid ignorant that at 71 years of age, he's too dumb to look out and go, wow, I have no congregation. But when I began, I sure felt special with a tie on and a primordial ooze. Here we have woolly mammoth. Here we have mountains. Here we have real Earth history, and he's too incompetent to follow along with it. And his children are as ugly. And I'm not saying I'm pretty, but I mean they are ugly. Ugly children. Ugly, fucking ugly children. Ugly children. Braces, adults, and literally laughs when baby made it stinky. And this ignorant, ugly 6,000 year daddy's always got right. And daddy's not a cult. Shit literally running down baby's leg out of the diaper. And baby made it stinky. That's supposed to be cute. And she sits there and doesn't take care of this child. Typical Christian. Didn't take care of 20, 30 minutes. Hey, bitch, go take care of baby made it stinky. That's it. Fucking incompetent bitch with braces. Ugly 6,000 year or Earth incompetent cult member. Child of a cult teacher who doesn't even know how to read his book. $6,000 year Earth is legend. You had about 5 years to correct James for having made that deduction. What's in the Bible? Why he thought it appropriate to invalidate science right here, 2020. One moment. But it is not, it's even worse. It's even a hell of a lot worse. Meaning that 6,000 Earth invalidated the entire book. Production of the contents of that book invalidated the entire Bible. One single false deduction invalidated the entire Bible, kids. One deduction. So you got this cult leader, cult book, this man who needs to retire. You got this church that needs to retire. $22 trillion in the hallucinative debt growing up from great apes. Evolution needs to retire. Jews will happily compromise and refer to the secular date of the Christian world as long as they don't have to use the letters that acknowledge Jesus the Messiah as Lord. Okay, that's good because Jesus the Messiah as Lord was a false Messiah, and we're waiting for Ben David to come take the Bible away from you because of the 6,000 year the legend. So they get what they want. However, because of that, you got the Lord part wrong, Israel. That's why you'll find the years before the guy with the letter J here appended before the letters BCE, before Common Era. So you also have a wobble. Too many wobbles. Descended from apes wobbling. In the years 3760, probably because they could get away with just one present from the birthday to the anniversary, and they called this paradise. So he kept a really weird, wobbling, stupid, ignorant. Wow, look where I picked this one up at. Complete Idiot's Guide. Called it paradise. It was called Paradise. I have two of these books. Kind of like Toad Swagger's, he needs to retire. All of his cult descended from apes. Why that should have a surprise to some people is beyond me. So what did this moronic say? Evolution according to Darwin and God. In the 19th century, Charles Darwin shocked much of the world with this theory of evolution. What bothered people so much is that they were descended from apes. So let's stop right there. What past tense, what bothered people so much is that they descended from apes. No one was bothered by that. No one was bothered. It was a theory, dipshit. And I'll explain the theory. There's a theory of false authorship of the Bible. So it being a theory of false authorship of the Bible, and a theory that provides recognition that the guy with the letter J is to stay clear of because you have a false Bible. The first edition of On the Origin of the Species was published in England, November 24th, 1859. 1859. On the Origin of the Species was reviewed by Bishop Samuel Wilberforce. Jesus was not Ben Joseph or Ben David. Samuel Wilberforce, 1805, 1873, September 7th, July 19th, 1873. So we have to look at family. Family. Bishop Samuel Wilberforce reviewed this. Thank you. He wrote as a Christian, so he read it. So during this era, when Bishop Samuel Wilberforce read this, the church had control of authorship. The church controlled and had 100% control of who got to print, who got to provide book, who got to provide instruction to teach with, who got to provide, and who's doing that. And now what do we have? Pope accepted Bishop Samuel Wilberforce. He wrote as a Christian. So Pope, you're fired. Accepted Darwin. When On the Origin of the Species was published in 1859, the worlds of thought and religion were jolted to their very foundations by the theory of evolution which it proposed. Up to then, practically everyone accepted the biblical chronology published in the 17th century by Bishop James Ussher, who asserted that the earth was created in 4004 BC. Sir Isaac Newton also asserted that the earth, however, said 4000. There's multiple of these. We have Colt over there who says approximate because they're reading back in their legend of Apocryphatics. Without that, don't do you any good, science. Pope doesn't do any good, science. You're all in hell with that one. Pope did nothing good for you, accepting evolution. Evolution is a good theory. The earth's older than 6,000 years of age. However, 500 years of very creative theory. You can make this theory apply to anything you want by saying shit you didn't know, didn't look at. Now, life science. Fleas evolved amazingly strong hind legs at some point, still not pinpointed in the fossil record. Smart enough in the year 2000 and whenever to figure out the sexes of fleas. That's pretty fucking impressive, but I'm still impressed that you made it to the moon and with the 6,000-year Earth Christian. And you didn't convince the monkey you took up to float around in space with you how to write a 500-year, hey, monkey in space, we should teach it to write it. It's going to grow up to become a Christian later. Yeah, in case it has children. Out of 500-year deductive loss, Bishop Samuel Wilberforce, what did he do for you other than in the year 2020? I'm reading a 2005 book that goes right with Jimmy Swaggart. He's dumb. Made a mistake. Jimmy Swaggart. Darwin, according to God, got left in hell. Is this book. You know that I can tell you, according to biblical reckoning, Adam and Eve saw the light of day and met each other and got married the same day in the year 3760. Approximately 6,000 years ago. And approximately a ways from October 23, 4004 BC. 3760. This one is actually a more common. You see 37s. You see stuff that's not at the back. You see this wobble because these people went back in a 6,000-year Earth legend of their interpretation. False. Left you in hell. False interpretation of the Bible, false interpretation of Genesis, false interpretation, false understanding of all world history. It's always been a false deduction. It's always left you in hell for having made the false deduction. It's always been immediate wrong. And then it was used immediately wrong to invalidate all science with the 500-year invalidation of religion. 500-year invalidation. Continue to invalidate religion. This complete idiot's guide invalidated common ancestry. This complete idiot's guide book invalidated the internet. This moron is so brilliant. In the image of God, he created them. If apes became before men, that's because men were an improvement. The distance between them is not quantitative, but qualitative, or a 500-year quantitative, and your qualitative understanding of reality is lost. This moron's quality is gone. There's no quality in this print. It's an apocryphatic of, I kept a legend of 6,000 year, I kept a legend of 8 500-year Earth legend, 500-year Earth legend, 500-year Earth legend. Science, you got a 500-year Earth legend that's NASA scientists grew up from great apes. And the funny part, I'm actually quite positive most everyone knows that. You only have, I don't have to look at anything. I don't have to look at my congregation going empty because I have a job. I'm a 71-year-old senile elder who kept a 6,000-year deductive legend. Too dumb to turn off. Too senile. Too dumb. Too far gone. He's too far gone. I'm outlining that in Washington State in prophecy. He has no brain. So literally outlining in Washington State because of this, neither evolutionists nor Christians have brains. Both went too far at descended from apes. Why would that come as a surprise to you? Descended from apes. To some people is beyond me. For many, Darwin is an ultimate heretic. Well, an ultimate heretic would be that you grew up on a great ape in 500 years and got too dumb to figure out that this author is too dumb, too ignorant to Earth history himself, because it's qualitative and not quantitative. So he doesn't use his great ape fingers to figure out reality. So this idiotic idiot. It's as dumb. My book looks like, hey guys, you stupid idiots, 6,000-year Earth legend. That's as dumb as a box of rocks. Up to now. As dumb as a box of rocks. Too incompetent to address it. You illegitimize the age of the Earth. Christians went way back when you're too dumb. And then you kept doing it. You had your entire cult career to figure out that the news you were being provided and the 80s were just slowly growing up, just girls. So during the 70s, when these morons were either just getting their dicks wetted and mating and having cult building, using them all, cult buildings. I can't figure out the legitimate age of the Earth. Cult building, broken skull. No Earth history because of cult building, broken skull. 500-year no Earth history. Cult that won't turn off. 500-year no Earth history because of them. You're $22 trillion in debt. Now you have Earth history. You didn't descend from apes. Christian, 500-year Earth false Earth history, and you did not descend from apes, morons, idiots, complete idiots. Guide descending from apes, morons. 500 years, you're homosexual. You're homosexual, great apes in my book. Oh, you need some help? Yes, you do. You need to understand that your pastors don't have brains in Washington State. So I'm taking the Bible away from the Toppenish Indian Washington Reservation Church with Kennewick Man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain, in order to explain the sociological, psychological, and pathological lying. You all are pathological liars. Pastors are the worst pathological thieves, pathological liars, and they can't look at themselves in the mirror and admit they're wrong to themselves. I shouldn't have been born is really the cult leader I'm taking the Bible away from. He should not have been born. And now he's a 71-year-old senile elder, too dumb to accept that because I'm just going to be a stupid moron his entire life. Cult leader. Take a Baptist church, a good Baptist church, Baptist cult. I'm in David. I'm out for the Baptists. Take them down. Because of the 6,000 years stupid as you can become. Legend. As great ape, stupid, ignoring all earth history for 500-year consequence. 500-year consequence of evolution. A 500-year consequence, children. That's not a hard one to figure out. 500-year consequence. Evolution. A theory from 1859 that with Bishop Samuel Wilberforce approved for authorship because he wrote as a Christian. Charles Darwin, anyone who published a book in 1859 wrote as a Christian. Anyone. You would not publish in 1859 if you did not write as a Christian. We have the legends of the Salem witch trials. Where'd that come from? Flat Earth legend, young Earth retention, and stupid fear. So the Salem witch trials came from stupidity, ignorance of the local greenery. People wise enough, like Jesus himself, guy with the letter J. I use the name Yeshua. Yeshua, proper, not great ape. Yeshua, guy with the letter J, false messiah. Yeshua equals Ben Yosef, guy with the letter J, false messiah. I actually equal Ben David because daddy's name is David. Yeshua's name, his daddy's name was David. He was born of a virgin birth. I was adopted. Same. Was he adopted or was he? I've even entertained the conceptualization that it almost appears in there's enough debate of great apes growing up to become Jimmy Swaggart and no one figuring out that great apes didn't in 500-year legend to figure out that Jimmy Swaggart just has a mental illness for being born. In the year 2020, the psychologists are unable to figure that one out. All of your cults, why do y'all look so ugly? Why are y'all walking around looking like here in my regions, you're all in Washington State where we have Kennewick Man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain indentured into in Washington State. This really, really immature, really kind of, I'm going to fluff up, get large, not exercise, not eat well. You currently have coronavirus. And your Christian churches are too incompetent to look at that. God's ashamed of the Christian church in the year 2020. And it is because in Deuteronomy 34:10 and Exodus 33:11, those two verses said God and Moses spoke face to face as friends. God is actually ashamed. We currently have corona because of the Christian church not being competent enough to read those two words. And their incompetency is because the guy with the letter J was a false messiah. And they treat him as a real man rather than a left you in hell man. For following that Yeshua through Greek, through Latin, became the guy with the letter J. False, English, false, English. You got grade ape. Christians, 500-year false messiah. You received grade ape Christianity and $22 trillion in debt. Christianity, you're the most immoral, incompetent cult. We didn't grow up from grade ape. Good for you, because you were magically poof 500 years before great apes developed writing. So right now, what I'm actually explaining to show is like the most lame thing I get to explain. All I get to do is take Jesus off the cross and explain God and Moses spoke face to face. That meant now Jesus, J, don't ever use the letter. You invalidated the letter J. You invalidated your brains through the letter J. You invalidate your brains through prayer. You invalidated your brain by being born. You invalidated Christianity. You have nothing valid in earth history. You are to a valid cult. Christianity will not have an earth history until it actually collapses because of the 6,000 year false deduction placed into a false understanding of a guy who's not the one written of in that book. And then where the guys who we didn't exist, we grew up from apes, they're all date 3769. We were magically poofed. That's when great apes grew up to become us. Great apes were done evolving, and now you're 6,000 years away from 5,500 years away from great apes being done evolving. In 1859, you're 5,500 years away from apes. You follow the most ignorant, stupid church can't correct at a false deduction, and science can't science is too incompetent to correct at a false origin of earth history. Science is too incompetent to correct at this being legend. Science legendize, and this legend is a mental ill legend. That man's mentally ill. You're in hell because of him. And saying you're in hell because of him, it means now that we use my dog's name rather than the guy with the letter J. When we pray, go to my website type thing. He was a false Messiah. We didn't understand his words. We didn't understand his contribution to those books, and we didn't understand how Christianity totally fucked up on every word and ended up with this immoral, incompetent cult leader right there. Picture great ape. I don't have to look at anything, including anything scientific. He's not a scientist. He's a magic poofer. He's an immoral, incompetent magic poofer. Well, I'm scared of great ape. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. He's an American. He's as dumb as a box of rocks. So, immoral, ignorant, stupid, immoral, ignorant, stupid. A picture. 500-year ignorant, fucking as dumb as a box of rocks. Kept the legend. You're in hell. No more guy with letter J because of immoral, incompetent, stupid on that picture. Immoral, incompetent, fucking immoral, and in New American Standard published in 1976 and 1977 was both apocryphal. Both of them. And they couldn't tell you because they're too dumb to have noticed. So we have a false theory, a 500-year false everything. False government, false world, false everything. 7.7 billion of you have a false everything because Christianity is too immoral and too incompetent to accept reality. So as of right now, what I'm working on is getting the King James Version of the Bible out of print, explain it to you, which we're doing, and I've been working on this for 13 years. It's a hell of a lot different, and you are in hell because of a 37, whatever that deductive ends for idiots was. Also wrong. Also a deduction. A false deduction. Hey, we'll believe whatever the fuck we want. No, you fucking moron. Put it next to what you didn't learn. You're from apes will accept anything. Pope did the same for you. This is a book of the generations of Adam, though, as compared to a legend. Of the generations of Adam. In that day, God created man. In his likeness, he made him. In his likeness. So man. Man. If man's great ape. So let's look. Bishop Samuel Wilberforce. Hand in hand, kids. I don't know the legitimate age of the earth. Hand in hand, same cult. Descended from apes. I'm getting phone call. I'll be back. Hello? Thanks. How you doing?